Hello everyone. This is one of the directive issued by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, where through this directive we will understand the principles of rule of law and also certain articles of the Constitution, that is Article 14, 21, 32, 50, and 142. So basically, let us understand the background of this case, where there was a batch of writ petitions filed under Article 32 of the Constitution of India to seek to raise the grievance on behalf of various citizens whose residential and commercial properties have been demolished by the state machineries without following the due process of law, on the ground that they have been involved as an accused in criminal offences. So this writ petition is basically to seek directions to be issued for strict actions to be taken against the officials of the state machineries who have been participated or participate in future in such illegal exercises of demolition. So to understand the essence of this case, we need to get to know certain articles, that is article 14, 21, 32, 50, and 142. So let us have a look into it. So basically article 14, this is known as a very essential article for rule of law to prevail. So it states that the state shall not deny to any person equality before law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. So it states that we all are equal before law, whether you are a government official or a basic normal citizen. The law of this land is equal, and you do have an equal protection of laws. That means that whenever someone infringes the right that is being conferred upon you, you have the protection, and such protection can be brought by seeking remedies through the court. So the writ petitions filed under Article 32, let us understand what it is. It is a remedy for enforcement of rights conferred by this part. That means the fundamental right, which is the part 3 of the Constitution. So what it states is that the right to move to the Supreme Court by appropriate proceedings. That means by filing a writ petition for the enforcement of rights conferred by this part is guaranteed. So if the Supreme Court finds out that there is an infringement of a fundamental right, then the enforcement of such rights is guaranteed when you seek remedy under Article 32. So here it also states that the court shall have the power to issue directions, which is particularly in this case, or orders or writs, including writs in the nature of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warrant, and certiorari, whichever may be appropriate for the enforcement of any rights conferred by this part. So this is what Article 32 basically says. You can reach out the Supreme Court of India to enforce your fundamental rights, and if the Supreme Court of India finds that your rights are being infringed, then it can issue any direction, orders, or writs. So that has actually been done here in a way that the accused in a criminal offense, their property are being destroyed or demolished by the state machineries without any due process of law. So this is completely against Article 21 of the Constitution, which means that no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according to the procedures established by law. When there is no procedure that is being established to demolish properties of accused in a criminal case, then it is a serious infringement of Article 21. Another article that is being used in this case is the separation of judiciary from executive, which means that there should be clear separation between the judiciary and executive in public services of the state. So, this enshrines the doctrine of separation of powers between the organs of the government. And then is the Article 142, which is important to note, is the enforcement of decrees and orders of Supreme Court. So, the Supreme Court, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, here it has the writ jurisdiction, may pass such decree or make such order as necessary for doing complete justice in any cause or matter pending before it, and any decree so passed or order so made shall be enforceable throughout the territory of India. So this direction is important because if it is being, or if it is being passed, then it is applicable to the entire territory of India. Now let us try to understand the important part of this video, that is rule of law, why it is and how it can prevail. So the rule of law has been conceptualized by A.V. Dacey into three postulates, which basically summarizes that there is no one above law of the land and that everybody is equal before law. So we just learned it from Article 14 of the Constitution. So here, no Spartan subject or citizen, man or woman, slave or king is above the law. So wherever law ends, tyranny begins. So it is important that there must be a rule of law in order to protect ourselves as citizens of this country. And if we feel that there is certain infringement, we have to directly approach the court in order to enforce it. So in this case, there was infringement of such rule of law where the state machineries imposed their arbitrary actions by illegally demolishing the buildings of the accused. So there was no process of law, due process of law involved. There was no procedure of law as to this regards. So basically, any kind of punishment to be given to an convict is only by the court. So it is the court which are independent adjudicators of the rights of the parties. Only the court can adjudicate. And under the constitutional framework, it is only they which can impose punishment. So only the courts are being enshrined to give punishment to the convicts. So the government officials and the citizens are bound by and have to abide the law, and that there must be a mechanism or institution that enforces the legal rules if they are breached. So that is what the courts are here for. They are here to enforce our rights. Now we can also look into certain important case laws where we can understand what rule of law is and its essence. Here, in the case of Indira Nehru Gandhi versus Raj Narain, it has been said that the rule of law is a basic structure of the constitution. Whenever something is being mentioned as the basic structure, then it cannot be amended, or there cannot amended in the sense there cannot be any changes, or it cannot be removed from the constitution by the parliament. Now, in the case of NHRC versus State of Arunachal Pradesh, it is to be noted that it has been held that the state government must act impartially and carry out its legal obligation to safeguard the life, health, and well being. So, the state should not act arbitrarily, it should treat each and every citizen, reaching out them in a way that there is equal treatment. It has also been mentioned in case Puttasamy, the duty of the court here. The above case was pertaining to the duty of the state government. Now, in this case, it is pertaining to the duty of the court, which is to be vigilant against state actions that threatens to upset the fine balance between power of the state and rights of the citizen, and to safeguard the liberties that inhere in our citizens. That is Article 21, which we came to know before. So rule of law is not only not only for the state machineries, but it is also upon the courts. who are actually the guardian of the constitution. So if there is a rule of law absent, there is no accountability and there is abuse of power and corruption. So this is the resultant uh, when there is no rule of law that is prevailing. So there will be no accountability. Who will take accountability of such state missionaries, and who will take accountability of citizens where their rights are being infringed? So wherever the state fails to perform its duties, the court would step into to ensure the rule of law prevails over the abuse of process of law. So breach of rule of law amounts to the negotiation of Article 14 of the Constitution, which we came to know before. So there can be no rule of law if there is no equality before law. Thus, the judiciary is the guardian of the rule of law. So it is also to be noted that this obligation underscores the state responsibility to maintain law and order and protect citizens from unlawful actions that undermine the rule of law itself. So, this is one of an important directive for us to understand in order to know our rights, our remedies, and the way through which we can enforce our rights. So, we should not be quiet when we feel that our rights are being infringed, and we have to immediately reach the court in order to enforce it. So I hope that you understood the rule of law through this directive and some of the important articles of the constitution.